Good morning and welcome to What's New in Automation for Monday. It's October 14th, 2024. I hope your Monday's going great, whether you're having your morning coffee over on the West Coast or on your morning break on the East Coast, or if you're just watching after the fact. I hope your Monday is going very well. And I know educators like my wife have today off, and some parents choose to take today off to stay home with the kids. So if that's you, I hope you're enjoying your time. And with that, let's talk about what news we're following. And we'll start with going over to the wrong article. Let's see here. We got this. We got this. All right, here we go. So I just want to remind you, this is theautomationblog.com. And just want to remind you, if you do enjoy these What's New in Automation shows, please give us a like. It's the only way for me to know if you guys actually value me doing this. Otherwise, if nobody's watching and nobody's liking, why would I do it? But I enjoy doing it. So in any case, I hope you like these as well. With that said, the top news that we were following this past week includes Rockwell Automation's new wireless interfaces, their new Edge to Stratix 4300s. These are LTE and Wi-Fi models. So we have had them on the show before to talk about their remote access solution, and now they can add LTE and wireless to that. Next up, we have Phoenix Contact. Let's go back. Computer has a mind of its own this morning. Let's go back to Phoenix Contact here. We have this new worker-assisted software for terminal strip assembly and control panel building. I thought this was really cool. It's great to have these tools. The ClipX engineering software from Phoenix Context. And ClipX, I think that may be copyrighted by somebody else. I don't know. But in any case, it looked really cool, and I wanted to share that. As well as Softing's new Ethernet APL field switch. We actually had Softing on the show this past week on the Automation Podcast. But in any case, Ethernet APL, as you may know, we've been following it for years now. And it's really took off this year as something that you can actually buy and purchase and install. And this Ethernet APL field switch is designed for use in EX Zone 2. So not just your standard switch. We also had these new switches from Turk. Now, you may not think of Turk first when you think of network switches, but something impressive. Not only are these really small, as you can see on the screen, right? But the other thing I thought was impressive was just out of the box, these units have a very wide temperature range, -40 to +70 C. There's no special model number to get that, apparently. So in the voltage range, 6 to 36 volts DC, the widest I've seen on a standard IP30 switch. So definitely interesting product there from Turk. And as we go over to our next news story that we're following, Advantech launched their new certification service for customers. It's an IEC 62443 certification service. Of course, we've had ISA on a couple of times to talk about 62443. And I thought this was interesting that they're offering this service to their customers now. From there, Kollmorgen launched a brand new motion controller. This is they call it a highly scalable controller, offering simple integration using their Kollmorgen automation suite. But in any case, this is the PCM M2G controller. It's their next generation controller. So a very cool product there. And from there we go over to Balmer. They announced their all-in-one housing, their compact GigE Vision cameras, which I thought looked really cool. It has everything you need in one package. So if you're doing any GigE Vision or if you have a GigE Vision needs, you may want to check out that product from Balmer. Then we had Luz, and again, I may be pronouncing that wrong, but that's what I'm going with. The Simple Vision sensors, and I thought this was interesting. They can do presence detection, they can do measuring, they can do counting, they can do code reading, and they can do print verification in either model, which I thought was pretty interesting. You can see here what the two different models can do, but they both do code reading plus some other stuff. Print quality, DPM code reading. This one also does measuring and counting and presence detection. So very interesting new product from them. And then we go over to Moxa. I don't have the picture up, but Moxa announced a new line of rugged MPC 3000 panel PCs. So these are your touchscreen panel PCs. We've had them on the show to go through their new line of IPCs, right? Industrial computers. And so now this is kind of a follow-up to that. So they have this whole brand new line of panel PCs. Of course, we'll talk about this in a minute, but I did have a couple of their Wi-Fi 6 products on that I recently took a look at in one of the shows we did. So from there, Premio debuted its 13th gen Intel x86. I was talking with some friends over the weekend and family members, and it looks like I'm running 9th gen here in the office, probably a couple years away from some, so I'll probably jump in around 16th gen, maybe 15th gen. But I typically try to get my computers to run for, my main computers to run for 5 years before I upgrade and then move that computer into a secondary role. So, I think I have 4 computers here. So every time I upgrade, I try to reuse that computer for something else. And the one in here is a pretty old one, but it does a good job for the show. So, but in any case, so 14th gen is out and 15th gen is coming. So we'll have to see what goes on there. But industrial computers are usually behind a little bit because they have to be industrial. Everything on the motherboard is totally different than what you'd find on a commercial PC. And that's how they get those higher vibration, higher temperature ranges and all that stuff. And then over at Bluetooth, we had radio mounting magnetorestrictive. Yeah, I didn't say it right again. These are precision cylinder position measurement devices, and you can see a picture of it right there. And with that, if you want to catch it, we're coming up on episode 250 already. It seems like it was just yesterday I started this show, but no, it's been a couple years now. And we're on the twice a week cadence. I found that's the best cadence after trying several things over the last few years. But in any case, you can find all the past shows over at theautomationblog.com. Here you can see some here. So this will be, because it's October 14th, this is 249. So Thursday will be episode 250. Wow, most shows don't get past episode 100, but it's great covering the news, and I'm glad you guys. So tomorrow will be 249. This is what's new in information, what's new in automation. Blah. But tomorrow will be 249, then Thursday will be 250. So in any case, I did want to go over to the Automation School and talk about what's new there. I have this new $9 course, $9.99. Basically, it shows you how to get all connected to the Slick 100, and you can ask me questions about my setup, and if you're having problems, I'll try to help. But in any case, I also included from some free downloads, including manuals and software. So I know you can find them other places on the internet, but sometimes it can be laborious to search for them. And then if you have a question about it, you don't have somebody to ask. So I put this together for you guys. If you know anybody who's struggling with the Slick 100, please recommend this course. Again, this is not going to be, this is not going to make our fine. This is not going to keep the lights on, but I did want to do something for folks because I know a lot of folks out there are struggling. As far as the room, I wanted to show you guys the comparison of the setups between, this is what it looks like when we set up for the Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley PLCs. So I got an L30, I got a couple of 5380s, and I got an L7S. And we don't go into safety right now. That's something I will be expanding to in the future. I got a lot of safety products and hope to pick up more of it as time goes on. But we also don't cover these Kinetics that are in the boxes. I want to replace those with PowerFlexes. But in any case, you can train, as we just did a couple weeks ago, you can train 4 people for 4 days for less than it costs to send one person to school for a week. And so let me know if you're interested in some custom training. That's the Allen Bradley look. And I also had another look here on and this might be too big, but this is the Siemens layout. So just did an S7-1200 course. These are my prototype trainers. And you can see I got the S7-1200. I got the unified basic panel, which the guys really loved and played with. Put some silly messages on. It was good times. And I got to still got to install the motors. I may bring the relays out to the front. I don't know. I got to think about that. And I will be integrating the ET200 SP, which were samples from Siemens. Thank you, Siemens. A lot of this equipment was either in exchange for advertising or for just sampled. So just really appreciate them supporting independent automation training in rural America. I know big cities have big, expensive training courses you can go to, but sometimes it's worth coming out to a beautiful place like the Berkshires to get your training. Now talking about what's coming this week, this is the content schedule. You can see this on the join. You can just go to content schedule. This is not restricted and everybody can see this. But this is the content schedule we're going to be running. This is our normal content schedule. And so today is what's new in automation. And then as I already talked about uh, um, last week, we did the Slick 100 video, and then I followed up and released that $10 course. And so for the automation show this week, I don't know what I'm going to be releasing. I got to start working on the Audience Choice Awards or Audience Choice polls. I did them very late last year, and I feel like we'll get more input from you. And so just to talk about what is the audience choice? Well, basically every year look at how crooked I am. my table's on wheels. So every year I like to ask you guys what your favorite products are. I want to make sure I'm covering what you guys are using, right? And what you want me to cover. So I do these polls that cover, and I haven't done it every year, but I really want to know what you guys are using. And so I do the vendor choice polls, and then I want to go through the news articles and find out what did you think were the hottest news articles of the year, right? Because we covered so much news over the year. So I'll go out and pick my top 10 and then have you guys, pick from that list or add your own story that maybe you think something else is more important. So just to really give me that feedback, right, on what you guys, because I'm here talking all the time and you guys, don't usually comment a lot, although you're welcome to. But in any case, so that's kind of going to be a focus of mine. I also have for members, if there's any members listening, I want to start doing some of these automation shows that won't have a accompanying automation minute with it. So I want to cover some products that that are really just for you guys. So I'm still working on what I will call that because right now the show and the minute are in sync. I release a minute in the show every time I do one. So look for that, members. Look for some member onlys where there's no accompanying automation minute with it. So, and I got some ideas on what we'll do with those, but in any case. The other thing I wanted to talk about, so the automation podcast, last week we did have, I really like this one, Team Manager by Softing, just a great product. If you don't want to do these things through software with a product like Transaction Manager or Rascal, then really cool way to do it. That said, it wasn't sponsored by Softing, so the video is members only, but the audio is free to everybody as always. So I also want to thank everybody who tuned in for the Trends in Industrial Automation. That was my second show with Steve Mustard, and you guys really liked that. I think we got a lot of new public people who saw that title and listened to the podcast. So the podcast got about twice as many listens as normal. So approaching 2,000 people listening on the podcast side. So so that was just want to thank everybody who listened to that. Of course, the video on that one was members only as well because it wasn't a company. Nobody sponsored it. So in any case, this week we will have another one. I think we'll go, because we did product last week, we'll do another interview this week. I get some really interesting folks who had come on and done interviews. And so we'll probably release that and then do a product the following week. From there, we go over to automation Q&A. We did one on Friday. If you missed it, there's 3 different ways we do this. Number one, we have the Q&A for members, which is available to both members and students at the Automation School. And you can go back and watch all those previous episodes. Then we have the question of the week, which we also released, and then which is public. And then we have the office hours for students, 9:30 to 10:30. Students can drop in anytime. I have an open Teams meeting that they can join in. So we do plan on doing that Friday again this week. With that, I wanted to show you the latest picture. I don't know if I showed this to you before. I think I may have. But in any case, this is the latest picture from the Automation Museum. In 2025, I want to start this nonprofit where people can get a tax credit if they donate a piece of hardware to the museum. Of course, we have to prove it first because we don't want just people sending in junk. But in any case, I hope someday to have a big room filled with all kinds of things from the history of industrial automation. And so I wanted to show you. I do have my Slick. I have the processor out because I'm filming lessons on it. But eventually, and I'll have the Slick 100 out here as well soon. So we'll have little write-ups on each. I can write these up. There was, I did have a donation, and let me back up here. I did have a donation of a Cymax. Let's see if I can break out of here and pull that up. Nope. So I did have a donation of a Cymax, or Sysmax. Let's see. Museum 1. Let's see if, nope, I spelled it wrong. That's not going to work, Sean. You got to spell it right. Let's try that. Yeah, here it is. So this is a Cymax 300 that I know nothing about, but it looks really cool. And so you can see it here. So if anybody has any information on this, I'd love to have a page just written about what this is, what it did, was it popular, did customers like it, but what a great demo this is with all the simulator ins and outs. Just seems like a really interesting piece of history of automation. So I'm still looking for somebody to write up something on that for the museum. All right, with that, please don't forget, if you do enjoy What's New in Automation every Monday, please give us a like, a follow, and a share. That helps me know if I should keep the show going. I love doing it, but just want to make sure it's something that you guys are liking. So consider giving us a like if you enjoy this show. And of course, you can join our membership program. It costs you 1 cup of coffee a week or $9.99 a month, and you get 4 to 5 unique shows, custom shows just for members every week. Sometimes it's the video of the automation podcast. Sometimes you'll get the automation show for members, and of course you'll get the news on Tuesdays and Thursdays and question of the week on Fridays. So there's a lot there, and it's available both on the automationblog.com. Thank you to everybody who signed up there, and YouTube. Thank you to everybody who signed up there. I try to keep parity between the two. If you guys know of some other place that it would make sense to have that on, let me know. And I just realized, guys, that I have left the screen on me and did not show you that PLC. So I'm going to back up. My apologies. I'm going to back you up and show you the PLC I was talking about. All right. Sorry about that, guys. That's why someday I'm going to have somebody who can work the buttons here. All right. I think I forgot to change the screen when we got to here. So this is the Cymax I was talking to you about. Okay. And again, my apologies. And then if I go back, you can see the Slick 100, 500 I was talking about, and 100. I got to go back one more because I made a typo. Okay. So apologize for that, guys. I didn't mean to leave it on myself. Yeah, very imperfect. But, it's Monday morning. I'm going to give myself a little break. All right, with that, that is the end of the show. I want to wish you guys an awesome Monday. I want to wish you good health and happiness. And until next time, my friends, peace.